there, booktubers. Today I want to do sort of a different little quick shout out about a book that I read, and I had a difficult time deciding if I even wanted to review this book because, you know, I created this channel with my students in mind, and I'm not sure this is a book I would recommend to young adult audiences. But I did read it, and I passed it on my way out the door this morning because I always put my library books that need to go back to the library next to the door to return. And as I was leaving this morning for work, I thought, oh, there's that book. And I was number 38, believe it or not, on the book list, the waiting list to read this book. And so when I finally got the book, I was, you know, thrilled to get it. And I happened to get it right before my trip to Buxton. If you haven't seen my video about book shopping in Buxton, I brought it to the Outer Banks with me, thinking it would be this really nice, fluffy beach read. And in fact, we were at the beach with extended family, and my sister-in-law said, oh, what's this? And she picked it up and she read the back. The book is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. And it says on the back, you know, Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. And then she meets Riley, who is assertive, stubborn, and maybe even a little bit arrogant. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan, her first love, and a link to the past she left behind, right? That sounds like beach fluff. That sounds like just the perfect little romance to read on the beach. And that's what I expected when I checked it out from the library. And it made me laugh, it made me cry, it brought out pretty much every emotion. So I do recommend this book. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, but there are some sensitive subjects in here, and so I recommend it for adults. I want to talk about this book. I don't want to give spoilers away. When I read the back cover and everybody was hyping it, you know, how great it was, I thought, okay, I'm going to read this book. And it was not the beach read that I was looking for. It was not the fluffy romance that I anticipated. It was actually much better. I really struggle with if I want to review this book and how I want to review this book, because you cannot really go into reading this book with preconceived notions. That's the most important thing. And that's the thing I liked so much about the book, is that it challenged me to look hard, really hard, at what I believe, and added another dimension to that and sort of upset my apple cart, if you will. It unbalanced my views of right and wrong. Now, that's not to say I don't still cling to my views of right and wrong. I do. I have very strong views about this is right, this is not. But it forced me to look at it and say, wow, maybe I'm a little harsh in my judgment. Maybe I need to consider the fact that, you know, when you make a judgment about right and wrong, there are people involved and there are circumstances that influence thinking. And I don't know, I mean, I'm not proud of that I hadn't really thought as deeply about that before. But when I read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, it did force me to rethink my thinking. And for that, I truly give Colleen Hoover a lot of kudos, because this book absolutely challenged the way that I look at a lot of things in life. Now, I still cling to my views of right and wrong. But, and so does the book. The book, definitely the narrator of the book, never really, I don't want to give anything away, but I do recommend this book. I will say, after you finish reading the book, read the back. Colleen Hoover at the end has this little addendum where she talks about why she writes the book and her own experience that's relevant to the book. And I was just so impressed with that. I was so impressed with the fact that she seemed to have something to say, and she wanted to say it. And she said it very powerfully. And I don't know, it really provoked a lot of thought in me. And for that, I am grateful. And it's funny because if I had known going into the book what it was about, I would have said, you know, no thanks. I already have my opinions about that, and I'm not going to read a book about that. And I'm grateful that I did not know what the book was about when I read it, because I don't know, I just, going into it with an open mind and a clean slate, it provoked a lot of thought, and it caused me to really look at the characters and the situation, and how the characters and the situation can affect the decisions that people make. And they're decisions that I am ashamed to admit I can be a little too quick to judge. And so this book forced me to look at, I guess, the line of thought that maybe the people do bad choices because of reasons that are beyond my comprehension, and I need to be a little less judgmental about that. And you know, I'm just being honest. I'm not proud of my narrow-mindedness going into this book, and I am in no way advocating bad choices. I still cling to my ideas of right and wrong. But I do really want to thank Colleen Hoover for adding another dimension to my perspective. I know that's a very vague and unclear review of a book, and I don't want to give anything away. I want you to read it for yourself. And if you're over 18, or if your mom says it's a good book for you to read, I definitely, if I had a daughter going into college, I would say, read this, you know, let's talk about this. But it's definitely not something that you read and you put down and you walk away. It's something that you read and then you digest and then you think about. And I would hope you would speak very carefully about. So those are my thoughts on It Ends With Us. For those of you who probably wondering, like, what is this woman talking about? She's crazy. Maybe I am. But anyway, read the book and you'll see what I mean. And I don't know. Like I say, I had to hold off on even giving a review because I wasn't sure I wanted to go there. But I'm going there. And I'm saying that this book has a powerful message, and one that I think we should be sifting through. We may not all agree on it. I know I wouldn't have agreed on quite a few things, whereas now I'm looking at it going, I have to rethink that. I think a good book, really, that's what it does. It makes you rethink things, and it doesn't necessarily change you or cause you to compromise your views, but it definitely causes you to rethink things. And Colleen Hoover definitely did that. So I wanted to thank her for that. And if you are an adult and you are okay with mature themes, I most definitely recommend It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover.